Hi there, and welcome to the very first episode of the Are They Really Here podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Isaiah Strano.
And I am unnamed as of now, but we'll figure that out soon.
Yep, we got the mystery man to my left here. And if you follow us on TikTok, you'll know that we mostly cover topics like UFOs, aliens, interdimensional beings, strange sightings of cryptids, you name it, we cover it. And we're diving into the podcast world now. So thank you for joining us. This first episode might be a little bit rough, but if you can just follow us and see where we go. If you like the topic, you might enjoy this podcast.
Yeah, please give us a little bit of slack here. This is a learning curve. So yeah, give a little bit of background on Isaiah and I's venture into this weird world of unidentified flying objects, or UAP as they like to call it nowadays. So yeah, we hadn't talked in a while, a few years. I randomly messaged him after I was watching a UFO podcast, actually, one of the random many that's going around, and said we should start our own. And he took the initiative and started our TikTok account, which you probably have followed if you come from there. The account's called Are They Really Here? Follow that if you haven't already. Yeah, so that blew up while I wasn't even thinking about us starting a podcast yet, but he got started making some videos of his own, and that Dulce, New Mexico alien base war one, that blew up unexpectedly, and that really got us our start. And yeah, so here we are actually doing the podcast, which was the original plan.
Yeah, a couple thousand followers, a couple thousand people watched that video. I think we're at 630,000 and counting for that Dulce Alien Wars video. To give a little bit of background, we did grow up together, right across the street, and one of the things I used to do with my dad was we would watch a lot of UFO and alien documentaries. We were both into the sci-fi genre, and I actually witnessed a UFO in the 11th grade. I was hanging out with some friends. It was a late summer night, and we were having some fun. I think it was a schoolyard, a park maybe, and I look up at the sky and I notice these two dancing lights, and the other friends in the group also noticed it, and we all are looking at them dancing around each other, and we're trying to figure out what it is. And it's very strange, very odd to look at and try to decipher what it could be. And they were dancing in a very nothing like you could see in any aerial phenomena that is within the Air Force, within a drone. At the time, this was 2011, so it couldn't have been a drone. But then a third object or light popped out and started maneuvering around the other two. And it's quite similar to one of our videos that we've posted that an Apache helicopter actually captured. It is on our TikTok, and I think it could be the same object, but that definitely piqued my interest. Unfortunately, my dad did pass away a couple of years ago, but I'm sure he'd be quite happy to know that I'm carrying on the family tradition with Mystery Man over here starting the podcast now.
Absolutely. Yeah. Contrasting, I've never had a sighting, desperately have always wanted one. I actually, I'm sure you guys know Stephen Greer. Whatever you think of him, but I tried that CE5 thing desperately. I don't think I ever told anyone this, but it was like at night, 2 a.m. I went outside, probably not the best mind state. I might have had a little sody pops or two, but I went outside and tried doing that CE5 meditation. And nothing showed up. I was very discouraged, but I went back inside. But you know, the one thing that piqued my interest, like I'm sure many people nowadays, is the 2017 New York Times article. The glowing auras and black money, how the Pentagon, blah, 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 investigating. You all know how this whole thing started with Tom DeLonge, Lou Elizondo, To the Stars. And everything.
Shout out Tom DeLonge.
Absolutely. Yeah, the legend. Yeah, he needs to do more interviews because...
And get back together with Blink 182.
Please. Yeah. That's the crazy thing is, well, he was obsessed with Blink 182 as a kid, and I was like a younger kid who followed him around, so I became obsessed with Blink 182. And the fact that now we're reuniting over aliens, and Tom DeLonge is still somehow the common thread in this, it It doesn't feel real, and because of that, we might venture into simulation theory because I don't understand what the hell's happening.
Ooh, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, but we'll see. We will see.
Yeah, not quite. Baby steps.
Some exciting theories we can talk about is what are they? And I think we're pretty sure they are here, whatever they might be. But the real question is, and a lot of arguments are started on our TikTok, is are they aliens? Are they interdimensional beings? Some believe they're demons. Some believe they're the U.S. military. And we're trying to answer that question for us, for you guys, and for the world.
And yeah, some people believe it's BS and that we don't actually believe it, which I want to clear up right now. It's totally not true. If you see some of our comments responding to these people, we like to have fun, but people genuinely think that this is still a stigmatized topic that shouldn't be brought up. But there are governments all over the world, highly respected military personnel and administrators, and I'm not a military guy, so I'm not going to try to use the lingo, but there's enough smoke to where even me, who never was really into the topic before 2017, there has to be a fire somewhere, in my opinion. And
I've seen it. I've seen the fire.
Yeah.
Up in the sky. Fire in the sky.
Ooh, hey, that's a good one. That's a good one, man. Gosh, where was I going? First podcast, okay.
We were talking about what they could be.
Yeah. This topic has enthralled me more in the past 2 years than probably anything else. Obviously, things like this, you don't want to let it consume your mind. Gotta keep busy, or else you're just gonna stay up all night wondering what the hell is going on. But what the hell is going on? Because I genuinely am convinced that if it's not a grand psyop, which I don't think it is, because I'm not a conspiratorial guy, which is strange considering we're starting a alien podcast, but I don't necessarily see it as it has to be a conspiracy. The government genuinely might not know what the hell is going on.
I don't think any of us really do.
I think that's exactly right. And
I mean, look at the case of the Phoenix Lights with Governor Symington, and he went out and said that he didn't know what it was. He had seen the lights. He had spoken to Senator John McCain, and he agreed it's a UFO. I mean, it doesn't get too much higher than that, but there could be beyond. I mean, looking into Area 51, at that level, it's even beyond the president. So there could be someone out there with answers. There's definitely some theories I think that are getting close. One theory I really like is that they're time-traveling humans from the future. That one's pretty cool. So Back to the Future, it could be Marty McFly, it could be Doc Brown for all we know. But I believe they are friendly. Nothing too insane has happened yet. I mean, they mutilated a few cows here and there, looking at you Skinwalker Ranch, but we'll find out.
And coincidentally, I think today it was like 2,000 to 10,000 cows dropped dead in Kansas. That might just be.
I did not hear about that.
Yeah, I don't think it's aliens. It might just be the heat wave, but yeah, it got me reminded about that. But no, something is going on, and even if you don't believe it's aliens, you can go the other way. If you think it's the government, even that is wild enough to where enough politicians on the left, the right, we're not going to get into any of that because it's not this podcast and not what I'm interested in. But my point is, enough people who disagree with each other and can't agree on any other issue, they are confused, they're confounded. This past, what year is it? 2022. So 2021, at the end of the year, I'm sure many of you know, with the National Defense Authorization Act, Kirsten Gillibrand, the senator, with a few other senators, a couple Republicans and some Democrats, who never come together on bipartisan bills anymore on their own initiative unless they're forced to by their constituents, which never happens because the constituents all hate each other nowadays. They agree, and they have decided to form an office and to investigate this and figure out what the hell's going on. I don't think that is a coincidence, especially not when China is now using AI to develop their own program to look into this topic. So there is a level of legitimacy to this now where the highest people in military and academia are giving this a genuine look. And most of the people now who are fighting against it they're becoming the fringe, quite frankly. So Yeah, it's almost coming to the point where if you say it's all BS and the government's lying about this, you're almost the conspiracy theorist yourself. So, yeah, that in itself is exciting to me, and that's what's drawn me in here.
Yeah, that's definitely a great point there, Mystery Man. It's interesting for sure, and I think with the clear advance, the clear advanced nature of whatever type of crafts these beings are using, it's for us we're the ants, and it's like the ants looking up at a boot trying to figure out how it functions. It's next to impossible. Looking at some of the reports, I mean, there was a report that the FBI released from the vault in 2011, where apparently a special agent had made contact with interdimensional beings, and the report stated that they believe the flying saucers are interpreted by us as flying saucers, but really these beings are using energy vectors. So we could look at it like this might not be the only reality. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Marvel movies. There could be universes stacked on top of each other, and how do you access those other universes when a civilization becomes so advanced? They have the ability to traverse the multiverse. They might need crafts to get to these different universes to communicate. It's an interesting theory. It's kind of one of those things you lay awake late at night, wonder to yourself, how do they do it? What are they doing? If it's real or not. And it makes for some good fiction as well, that's for sure. But
Damn right, and that's the whole reason that I'm excited to get started with this, because no matter what it ends up being, I'm not married to any one theory of what this thing is, but you got to admit it is pretty damn exciting. It's probably the most exciting mystery in our current lifetime. With everything going on in the world, this is real, and it's not some flight of fancy. Like, what is that? I don't know what the expression. I'm not going to try to get fancy with it, but you know what I'm saying. This is it's something I never imagined would become so mainstream. You have mainstream scientists such as Gary Nolan, who's actually world-renowned. I can't remember what this is. Really bad of me to not know what type of physicist he is, but he does work for the U.S. government, basically doing Gary Nolan, 2 R's in Gary. And he does studies on the brains of these Navy pilots, Air Force pilots who have had encounters with these UAP. Government funded, and they have actual health effects, which has been outlined in the National Defense Authorization Act from this past year that they've created the office for in the Pentagon. There's real people that have had adverse health effects that have had their lives ruined, quite frankly, by these things. And we don't know if it's intentional by these things. It might not be, because to be honest, anytime we try to get near them, they dart off. So it is quite possible they want us to know they're here, but they know we can't get close to them, or else it's going to completely ruin us. Like,
I mean, they've seen what we've done with our nuclear weapons. It's I would be afraid of us too, to be honest, if I was them. They're just, some little green men just trying to make their way in the universe, and they come across us who clearly not get enough of war, of weapons, and things even far more unimaginable that we commit upon each other.
yeah, and I think one of the main things is they might not be able to get like in close contact because they know biologically they might bring some, like, think of what happened when we came over to the New World in the Americas. The native populations here, it was
Stephen
devastating.
Hawking quote.
Exactly, and it was pretty devastating. So, yeah, imagine what an advanced species from across the galaxy would do to us if we came in contact. There's the Rendlesham Forest case. I can't remember the name of the man who came in contact there, but Isaiah's here's on it. And John McCain, the late Senator John McCain, he was the one who went investigated and went to the Veterans Affairs and said, why the hell are you not getting health care for our soldier who was injured in the UK when he came into contact with a landed UFO? So there are real personnel who are getting injured coming into close contact with these things, and they're not getting the help they need because nobody recognizes it as a legitimate thing. So that's one of the reasons why I want it to be legitimized, is because anybody who has like been harmed in encounters, I don't know if abductions are real. I flip-flop back on that, but you know what? Enough people claim that they are where I have to take it seriously, because I couldn't imagine being somebody who had a negative experience and having no one believe me. That would be the most maddening thing in the world. And there are legitimate cases of pilots who have radiation burns or brain damage after getting near these things. So who knows? They might want us to know that they are here, but they don't want to get too close because they don't want to hurt us. That is one of my leading theories, and you know what? I like it. It makes sense to me.
It's interesting you bring up the Rendlesham Forest incident. The binary code that was translated speaks to one of the crazier theories that I had brought up earlier, and that was the time traveling human theory, that it could be us from the future. And I'm just looking up the code right now. Let me just find it, but it essentially said that so when the soldier who approached the aircraft got near the aircraft, and I believe he touched it, James Pennington, he had a message almost downloaded into his head, and this was before the internet was a big thing, right? So the feeling of something downloading, it's strange. It's a little uneasy, but the message was, it seemed like a warning. It seemed like they were trying to tell us something. Having troubles finding this code. This is why you can't look up anything UFO on Google.
Sorry to interrupt for the audio. I apologize. Yeah, you can tell this is the first podcast. We didn't have a specific case we were going to look into, guys, so we apologize if we're jumping everywhere. But just kind of want to give you an intro. But when was that case?
The 80s. December 26, 1980.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it really was before. Unless he had some old computer back then and knew what a download was.
Found it. So, Exploration of Humanity, 666, 8100. Continuous for planetary advancement. Fourth coordinate, continuous before, and then a list of coordinates, longitude and latitude. Eyes of your eyes, origin year 8100. So I mean, I don't think it's us from the future. I really like that theory, but it is quite a frightening message, and this was decoded a couple years after, and this wasn't something that a soldier's just probably going to make up for fun and say, hey, I saw a UFO, had binary downloaded in my head. So it's very puzzling, it's bizarre, and it raises a lot of questions.
Yeah, I can't imagine being an active duty soldier and deciding to ruin my career by saying, hey, I have health concerns now because I touched a landed UFO in the forest. That wouldn't be the first story I would make up in order to get health care, and it definitely didn't work because he didn't get any. So,
and I mean, there's a lot of these interactions with these crafts. These individuals will most often receive radiation burns, and after doctors inspect them, it's strange. It's like they've had continuous exposure to radiation, so it's strange. Mm-hmm. It really is.
And as the very well known now, at least, leader or former head of ATIP, Lou Elizondo, mentioned, there's even time dilation when people get near these things. So when these pilots are flying near these UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena, or well, I'll stick with UFO just because that's what most people know, and they will say, yeah, I can't remember which way it went. It either felt like time was shorter for the pilots or longer, so the pilot felt like they were only in contact with the craft for like 2 minutes, and then they came back down, and they were like, it's been like 30 minutes, and they were low on fuel. And yeah, it's frightening. We have no idea how they work. Nothing but theories at this point. It's all speculative.
Oh, Bob Lazar.
Yeah. I have my own theories on Bob Lazar.
Well, let's hear them.
Do you know He got arrested back in the day for running a brothel before.
I heard about that. It's
not
insane.
not yeah, exactly. Not to denigrate sex work, but sorry, I'm going a little off the rails here.
Yeah, we're not touching that with the 10-foot pole.
Not with a 10-foot pole. No. No, I definitely wouldn't denigrate it. It's great. I don't know. I did believe Bob Lazar. I actually did believe 100. The one thing is, there's no records of his education, and no professors from the university even remember him being there, which they would. And the one professor he named as being a professor at that university, they found out it was his high school teacher. They went back on the records, so I'm not sure. It does seem like a habitual liar, but he could be legit. And there's enough legit accounts to where we don't even need people like that where we can't verify it. There are verifiable people in the military who have gotten close to these things. But Bob Lazar, no, I flip-flop back and forth on him because too much of what he describes does show up in a lot of modern-day UFO cases. So I can't discredit him. I know I kind of just did, but
We'll probably do an episode on Bob Lazar at some point.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we need to do a deep dive on that guy.
Yeah, for the most part, this is just an intro. This is our branch off from the TikTok account. As I'm sure you've noticed, we cover many topics. We cover anything from the Rendlesham Forest incident, the Phoenix Lights, recent disclosure cases that Mystery Man over here has done a lot of videos on. Things we try to reach across the board because we find this fascinating. We find it fun. We find it interesting. We're not here to tell you exactly what it is. We are here to research and find out more and have fun with it. So we're just interested to see where it goes. But we're gonna definitely take some topics. We have so many videos that we've done that we can just pick one from and venture off with that. And do a deep dive. But again, this is the intro podcast. I'm Isaiah Strano. I don't know much else I have to say, but Mystery Man?
I got nothing other than to say I'm really excited for the next episode. We've been riffing, it's only been 22 minutes, but honestly, that flew. We didn't even have a topic. We just touched barely.
Crazy.
Yeah. All the cases we talked about today, we're going to do deep dives on every single one of them, and hundreds more.
Hundreds more.
Yeah, easily. And we have so much content still to put out on the TikTok account and on this podcast. The TikTok account, honestly, was just started as really probably for marketing for this. Sorry, talking to the mic. But I've never been involved with TikTok. He's more experienced. So if you see some of the videos and some of the comments, some of them might have different style. He is much better. If you see the high level edits, that's more his thing. I've just started, but no, I'm excited. We're going to get into some specific topics, do deep dives. And who knows? Maybe I'll reveal my identity somewhere along the line.
Maybe we'll even interview an alien in the flesh.
Yeah.
Any aliens out there, if you'd like to be interviewed, please reach out.
Tom DeLonge, if you listen to him, there's probably some aliens in this room right now. So
okay, that's freaking me out. Let's get Tom on the podcast. Tom, if you're watching this, man, you're my hero. I got my lip pierced for you in high school. Not for you, but because I thought you were cool and it looked good on me, So that was my emo phase. I've grown out of it.
Genuinely, if anybody could get this in front of Tom DeLonge's eyes, I know you've been propositioned for any of the 100 UFO podcasts that have popped up over the past 5 years since 2017. I know you only do interviews nowadays to promote your albums, but please, Tom.
We listen to your music. Come on, we will only listen to Angels and Airwaves, Boxcar Racer, Blink. We don't care. It'd just be cool to hang out with you, man.
Yes, please. Yeah, we don't even have to get deep into the what you are uncomfortable talking about, legit anything and anybody else who has a case where you want to talk about it. We would love to interview you, reach out. And follow the TikTok account at Are They Really Here? A-R-E, you know how to spell the rest. All the words spelled out properly, no short form. Are They Really Here? That's it. Give it a follow. And follow us here wherever we're going to post this podcast. I'm not quite sure. YouTube, definitely. Give us a subscribe and like.
Thank you for joining us for the very first episode of Are They Really Here podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Strano.
And I'm Mystery Man.
Signing off.
See you soon.